stereotypes. Uh, just uh, think about it. Have you ever heard some people telling girls dress this way, or do your hair, do your makeup, or tell boys to have a more manly attitude? Um, I would like to tell you my opinion on this. That we don't really have to be the same, and I really love diversity among people. If we were all the same, we would get bored pretty quickly. I will tell you a bit about my passion. It all started last year when I went with my cousin to the beach, but it was too windy and the sea was too cold for swimming in it. So we were just sitting there on the cold sand looking at the waves from distance. Well, I was looking at the waves and thinking about the gray sky and the bad weather. My cousin was watching something on her phone, and she was paying so much attention at what she was watching that anything else couldn't distract her. Not even me stealing her sandwich. Um, and when I saw I couldn't get her distracted by eating her snack, I knew something serious was happening. Trust me, I grew up with my cousin like we would have been sisters, and I know that she defends her food at all costs, but not that day. The fact that I ate her sandwich right beside her didn't even bother her. So I became curious about what she was watching, and I joined her. She was watching a Formula One race. At first I thought, so stupid, such a waste of time. Just watching some guys driving around in circles in their small cars. But I'm not going to lie, that thought just vanished away, and I started to actually like watching those guys driving. It just caught my eye, and after that I began to watch old races, interviews with drivers or the mechanics that were building the cars, and I was trying as much as possible not miss a single race. Almost every Sunday I was making sure I had some free time to watch the race. Afterwards, a couple of months later, I had my first racing experience in karting, which just made me fall in love with the sport even more. The point of this is that if the society thinks that girls shouldn't be around cars, for example, you shouldn't really listen to them. There's a first time in anything, so if you like cars, for instance, it doesn't matter that you're a girl or a boy, you should just follow your passion. Um, what is so special about Formula One? Why do I like this sport so much and why do I get bored about it? First of all, because of the mechanical part, how the cars are built, it just amazes me. Formula One cars are a lot different than road cars. They have such an aerodynamic shape that can get so much downforce and have some really powerful engines, so that's why they can get so fast. The engineers make some complicated and very exact calculations when they build a car. They even measure how thick the layer of paint should be, and they make sure it is uniformly spread on the surface of the car. They just do their best to build the fastest car. I'm not going to get into technical details, but it's amazing how much effort is put into building a Formula One car. They might be small, but they are so complex. They have so many and strong mechanisms that need to work like a clock to bring the driver the win. They may look so fragile, but they almost never fail to protect the driver in case of an accident. And that is also one thing I love about racing, safety measures. A driver could just hit a concrete barrier at 300 kilometers per hour, crash his car, and get out of the cockpit without a single bruise, saying that he's completely fine. I've talked about the complexity of an F1 car and why I like them more than road cars, but now let's think about the human beings that make this sport possible. There are the engineers and the mechanics that work day and night all the winter long to build those wonderful, powerful cars for the next season. And then there are the drivers, which I admire the most for their courage and also for their intelligence to think of strategies. And this is one more aspect I like about racing, adrenaline. Since I was a kid, I've always been looking forward to do things that would make my heart beat faster, make me feel alive, and living intense experiences. And once you start identifying yourself with the driver, you begin to feel the race. Well, you'd feel it more intense if you were a driver, as sometimes I wish to be, but you still feel a little nervous also just by watching. In my point of view, racing is a really intense and challenging sport in the first place for the drivers, but also for the members of the team and anyone else watching. The fact that racing is the most, let's say, human sport I've ever seen is something I also find pretty interesting. On the track, the drivers are really competitive and they try to use the best strategy to win. And they fight and work very hard for that win. But off the track, they act like they are good friends. And they also help each other when possible and they cherish each other's wins. Racing had a small impact on my life as well. How did it change me? Well, first of all, it made me more competitive and determined to achieve what I'm planning to. And it's a good thing to be a little competitive and sometimes compare yourself to the others, but in a constructive criticism kind of way. That's how you know if you're growing, learning from your mistakes, or decreasing. It also made me more fearless. If a man is not afraid to drive at 300 kilometers per hour, why would I be scared of the spider? Why would I be afraid to try new things and live my life to the fullest? After all, our lives are just like a race. At first, we have no experience at all. We meet the first members of our team when we come into the world, and those members are our family. Then, as time passes, the is getting bigger and bigger as we are making friends. And they all work together into developing a car especially designed for us. That car represents our personality, our capability to think, our feelings, basically everything about our mind. And we use that car to drive in this race called life. We sometimes might scratch it, but we still continue. We always try to finish first. We sometimes might smash the car completely. Then we come back to the team, say we're sorry, and they'll just smile, tell us tomorrow will be better, and build a better, stronger car for us. We just have to keep pushing, never give up, and always aim for that first place. And also, never forget the people that made it possible for us to achieve our wildest dreams. Don't let anyone stop you in achieving what you've always dreamed of. The society might have wrong opinions sometimes. It's always good to listen to the people you trust and take their advices in consideration. But if someone ever says you can't drive because you're a girl, or you can't be a fashion designer because you're a boy, or anything else like that, and have no other argument, then don't even bother about their opinion. That was my TED Talk. Thank you.